if you're unfamiliar, these guys are on a TV show called Flashpoint. It's a show that's hosted on Kenneth Copeland's TV network, Kenneth Copeland Ministries. It's an absolutely insane far-right Trump-supporting TV show, a dominionist, extremist, evangelical, Christian nationalist type of deal. And they will do anything for Donald Trump. It's nuts. So they're talking about Donald Trump's indictments and his recent polls. Donald Trump, there's a single poll that showed Trump up and Biden down recently. We don't look at single polls, though. We look at aggregates. But of course, these people are going to latch on to anything they can to make their God Emperor look good. So I wanted to listen to some of this. This is not part one. If you haven't seen the other, don't sweat it. This stands independently of the rest. I'll provide context if it's missing. And while we listen, we're going to play Breath of the Wild 2. I'm at the very beginning of the game. So, yeah, let's give this a listen, this TV show, this absolutely insane TV show, and see what these people have to say for themselves. All right, so they're about to talk about some more polls. Again, I look at aggregates. I look at compilations, averages of polls, not individual polls, but they're going to look at the individual ones because they're propagandists, and they like doing the old p-hacking propaganda technique. So let's listen to what they have to say about this. Check it out.
So since we talked about Kamala, let's see how her polls are doing. Look.
I know that you're saying you don't look at the polls too much, but our poll does show her favorability is actually lower than President Biden and even than former President Trump. Why?
Well, I mean, her favorability is low, Kamala Harris is, for two reasons. Reason number one, because it's a single poll, not an aggregate. There's no reason to base anything off of a single poll. I meant to get in the water just now, and instead I fell right next to it. That's just messed up. And reason number two, she's not in the public spotlight at all. She's just not, like, recognized or renowned or, they don't talk about her at all. She doesn't put herself in the public spotlight, which is common. That's usually how vice presidents do it. They don't put themselves in the public spotlight very often. I mean, Mike Pence didn't, right? So her favorability is probably kind of linked to Biden's to some degree. And this isn't the favorability that they just looked at like 5 minutes ago on this TV show. The favorability they showed for Biden was 41% positive, not 39%. Are they just picking random polls that tell the story they want to be told or they want to believe or whatever? It seems like that's what's happening right now. It's like they don't even care if what they're saying has any truth value to it. What they care about is propagandizing.
Then President Biden and even then former President Trump. Why do you think she's not resonating more with voters? What do you think the issue is?
The issue is she's not public, of course.
So when you compare the first woman of color and first woman to be vice president of the United States and compare that to all of the history before, you will get that. I think that during this campaign, she will demonstrate, as she did in that hall last night, that she knows exactly what she's doing. She has the capacity and the capability to be president of the United States if called upon to do so.
Sure. I mean, she has the capacity and capability to, of course, because she's a human being and she's in the United States and she's been in the political role before. And I've come to find, actually, interestingly enough, you can be the stupidest person alive and still be capable of running for president, winning, and continuing to, and actually fulfill the role. I found that out during the Trump years. You don't have to be intelligent. You don't have to be good. You don't even have to know what the you're doing. You can you can be the stupidest person on planet Earth and still be president, as it turns out. Found that out last term. Anyway, the point is, of course she's capable of being the president. Yes. What's the point here? And who the hell is this guy? Assistant Democratic leader? Representative James Clyburn? I don't know this person for some reason. You'd think I would.
That's exactly what she's doing. She has the capacity and the capability to be president of the United States if called upon to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
Really? You think that she's too stupid to be the president, but your guy Donald Trump was smart enough to be the president? Again, if I learned anything from the Trump presidency, it's that the dumbest person alive can be the president because the job really doesn't require practically anything. You know what the job requires? Telling other people that they have to do different things. And honestly, that's delegated to the vice president, not the president. The president can just keep his mouth shut for 4 years and not do anything, and everything will probably be fine. He can leave the big decisions to other people if he wanted to. Obviously. I mean, we saw it happen with Donald Trump. Sometimes the president has to make big decisions, and that's just what it is. But anyway, like, when Russia invaded Ukraine, the president has to decide how much support he gives to Ukraine over Russia or whatever. Sometimes missiles are launched in the middle of the night, and you have to make decisions about what you're going to do then and blah, 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 that kind of thing. But for the most part, the president can be dumb as dog shit and still capable of fulfilling the role, I've come to find. Stupidest person alive can be the president.
However, so it's racism is the reason why.
Always.
What about this scenario? Let me just throw another scenario in. It's absolutely nothing based on a hunch. What if they came to Kamala and said, look, for the next 6 months, you're going to be president. You don't get to make any decisions. You get to be the first female president, first black or whatever color she's choosing.
Okay, I believe she's half black and she's half Indian. It's not like a choice kind of thing, and it's honestly disgusting that they would frame it that way. Seriously, what is wrong with these people?
Female president for 6 months, but you're not running in the election, and you got to step down. I mean, that would be a tempting thing to take. You go down as history as the first female president.
So is he saying that there's some ambiguous authority out there that can grant her the ability to be president for 6 months if she steps down, like a deal with Satan or something? Like, what the hell are they talking about right now? I'm just lost, straight up lost. Is he saying he believes that Kamala Harris is going to be the president for 6 months and then step down? Like, am I picking this up correctly?
And then somebody else, it's kind of like Agnew. No matter say what you want, he was president for a while there, after.
Who the hell is Agnew?
Nixon. So we've
You mean
got
Ford.
Yeah, him
Ford.
too.
Are you talking about Gerald Ford? Yeah. Who's he talking about? Agnew? What?
Yeah, him too. Yeah. So
I don't understand what the hell they're talking about. Do they hate Gerald Ford? He pardoned Nixon, and they presumably love Nixon, right? What are they going on about right now? I'm so lost.
Say what you want. He was president for a while there, after Nixon. So we've
You mean
got
Ford.
I feel like that's like a Zelda boss or something. Agnew. Spiro Theodore Agnew was the 39th vice president of the U.S., serving from 1969 until his resignation in 1973. Oh, wait a minute. Was Spiro Agnew Gerald Ford's vice president? Is that what it was? Hold on, I'm just trying to figure out. He is the second of two vice presidents to resign the position, the first being John C. Calhoun in 1832. Agnew was born in Baltimore to a Greek immigrant father and an American mother. Okay. So what was all this about Agnew?
And then somebody else, it's kind of like Agnew. No matter say what you want, he was president.
No, he wasn't. Who becomes the vice president in the event of like apparently Gerald Ford's vice president was Nelson Rockefeller from 74 to 77. Spiro T. Agnew. I need to get to the bottom of this. I'm so confused. Agnew was vice president of the U.S. and governor of Maryland. So he's vice president from 69 to 73. I think that was under Nixon. I thought that was under Nixon. Who was Agnew vice president for? He was vice president for Spiro T. Agnew. What? Why am I not getting any information about this dude? Oh, he was... Oh, okay. I understand. It's clicking now. I'm sorry. This is so ridiculously stupid. Why did I not see this before? Agnew ran with Nixon and was Nixon's vice president. And then quit, resigned, and Gerald Ford took his place. That's what happened. And then when Nixon resigned because of his disgrace, Gerald Ford became the president. And Gerald Ford had his own running mate later on and everything else. So anyways, there you go. So Agnew ran with Nixon. That's what happened. Agnew ran with Nixon and won, and then resigned as vice president. Okay, now let's listen to this again. I'm sorry, I was so confused by this, dude. This is just a confusing mess. And there was wild corruption. Oh, you bet there was wild corruption in all of this.
Somebody else, it's kind of like Agnew. No matter say.
All right, let's just step back, listen to the entire context one more time now that we understand this.
Male president versus black or whatever color she's choosing. Female president for 6 months, but you're not running in the election, and you got to step down. I mean, that would be a tempting thing to take. You go down as history as the first female president, and then somebody else, it's kind of like Agnew. No matter say what you want, he was president.
No, he wasn't.
For a while there, after Nixon. So we've got...
No, he wasn't. What are you talking about?
Ford.
Yeah, him too. Yeah, him too. Yeah.
Yeah, him too. No, it's so obvious that these people have no idea what they're talking about. Okay.
So,
well, but Gene, wait. Oh, go ahead, Lance. Sorry.
I was going to say my problem is you're making that sounds sensible, but look at Fetterman.
Probably won't happen.
You look at Feinstein.
Yeah.
Look at Biden. I mean, you have totally unelectable people that are actually, without any resistance, still continuing on in office, doing their thing. Maybe not.
Totally unelectable people, huh? Well, that's not true. The people in office are very electable. But you know what? If you really think about it, look at it in the cold light of day. Why do you think those people won? Why do you think it is that your people are so unpopular that it was even possible for those people to win? I mean, really think about this, guys. Don't strain yourself. Donald Trump is one of the most hated politicians on planet Earth. Is there really any wonder why? Anybody could win against Trump pretty much because he's so controversial and hated. Yes, he's adored and loved, and he's also f***ing hated.
Not even able to function at times. So
Biden is perfectly capable of functioning.
I don't necessarily have confidence that there isn't a small group of people that feel like they can get away with anything. It always is amazing to me, and some night we need to talk about this. 75% of America agrees that the border is a problem, that we shouldn't have illegal, unvetted people flooding into our cities.
Okay, I don't believe that that's even true, first of all. And second, immigration is so ridiculously good and valuable for a country's economy, for example. Immigration is phenomenally good for a country. There is only really one reason to not want immigrants in the United States that I can think of. It's extremely valuable to have them in the U.S., to have immigrants flooding in. The more, the better.
With that much agreement, why is the border still open? I think they have such a monopoly of control in Washington between the two parties.
Okay, I'm sorry. The border's not open. I'm not going to let him get away with this lie. The border isn't open. People are being apprehended every day at the border. This is just made up nonsense. Now, what's his name? Greg Abbott has been taking funds from Florida. I'm sorry. Greg Abbott has been taking funds from Texas. He's the governor of Texas. He's been taking funds and shipping immigrants from Texas to New York City. To my understanding, he's only shipped somewhere in the vicinity of 15,000 per month or something like that. I don't know exactly how many. But New York City gets a ton of immigrants coming in anyways. Like, we're getting like 400,000. Wait, let me get the numbers. According to CBS News, almost 100,000 migrants arrive per year. 60,000 of them are still in the shelter system. Since last spring, New York has received more than 90,000 migrants and asylum seekers. It's now at capacity, city officials say. Meanwhile, dozens of new arrivals are camping out on the streets of Manhattan. What? I haven't seen any of this. What the hell are they talking about? Camping out on the streets of Manhattan? I live in Manhattan. I haven't seen any of this. This is just nonsense. I'm sorry, guys. This is the kind of shit that you hear from people when they're doing everything they can to make it seem as though the migrant crisis is completely out of control. I trust NPR. NPR is a good reporting agency, a good reporting arm, if you will, or whatever. But this is complete garbage right here, what I'm reading. There aren't people camping out on the streets or whatever. It's just nonsense. I suppose that I've found a couple of examples of, homeless people on the streets or in the subway stops or whatever. That's happened. It's really not that common. There are homeless people on the streets here, yes. Some. But I haven't seen any migrants staying on the streets or any of that stuff. Like, what are they even talking about? You know what? I guess I'm just not going to get to the bottom of this. The point is, New York City is getting migrants, and only a very small portion of them are coming from Texas. Texas has a lot of migrants coming in, but guess what? Texas is set up for that. Texas has been receiving people or getting asylum seekers and stuff coming over the border for, hell, since day one, forever. It would surprise me to find that there aren't people coming over the border in Texas. Like, a lot. That's just how it works. Doesn't mean we have an open border, quote unquote. We don't. The border is closed. But these people want to fearmonger about the border and claim that it's whatever. Just garbage. Hey, check it out. I never noticed in the background of Lance Walnau's thing, he has Donald Trump hugging a flag, and he has a little VeggieTales character. Never noticed that. Okay.
Agreement. Why is the border still open?
It's not.
I think they have such a...
I'm sorry. It was never open.
A monopoly of control in Washington between the two parties as a uniparty and the 5 counties that surround them with all the money they've got. I think they overrule America all the time. I think we have a lot more we agree on than we disagree on. And I think 75% says we got to get the budget under control. They never do it. They haven't done it in 20 years. Something is strange when the majority of Americans are in agreement on problems and Washington refuses to do something. So I don't look at logic anymore the way that I used to. I think they believe they could do what they want.
I think you're...
Who is they? Is he talking about, like, politicians or just all politicians, I guess?
Right there. Take all reason, logic, throw it out the window. All right. Well, let me show you this. Guys, I'm going to jump to the Hillary. You want to know what Hillary's doing?
Not really. I don't care what Hillary is doing. She's not really involved in politics anymore. She's not going to run for president ever again, almost certainly. I couldn't possibly care less what Hillary is up to right now, but okay. I assume you're going to tell me, right?
Look at this. Look at what Hillary's doing. You might,
if I must.
I wonder, you're sitting at home going, what is Hillary doing?
No, never actually occurred to me. That has never happened. I've never sat at home and said, I wonder what Hillary is doing right now. I don't give a shit what Hillary is up to right now. I couldn't possibly care less. But I guess you're going to tell me because you keep track of this shit, right?
Look at what Hillary's doing. You may wonder, you're sitting at home going, what is Hillary doing? I'm glad you asked me that. Look at this. Inside with Jen Psaki. There's a show you want to watch. I fear...
Jen Psaki, for the record, was the press secretary for Joe Biden for a while. No longer. She gave up the job, and now it's Karine Jean-Pierre, I think. She's a black lesbian woman. So kind of interesting. It might be the first time that, any of those demographics of people have been in that position. I'm not sure. Anyway. Okay, so Jen Psaki started her own show after being the press secretary and is now having on Hillary Clinton, I guess?
Look at this. Inside with Jen Psaki. There's a show you want to watch. I fear that the Russians have proved themselves to be quite adept at interfering, and if he has a chance, he'll do it again.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, that's very, very true. If you don't think that's true, then you're a fool. Of course, Vladimir Putin has done everything that he could to get a favorable president into the presidency in the United States. He would have been a fool not to. And we know that he's a dictator. He's a piece of garbage. His opponents shouldn't stand near windows or drink tea. Just stay on the first floor is all I'm saying if you're an opponent of Vladimir Putin. Anyway, the point here is, of course, Putin is going to interfere in the election. Yes, that's going to happen. He interfered in the election last time, too. Donald Trump repeated the words Russia, Russia, Russia to try to make a point. It's a propaganda technique to make it seem as though any mention of Russia and election interference at all is just a lie. It's not true at all. But it is, actually. Vladimir Putin did, in fact, create bot farms and stuff like that and have them get on Twitter and argue in favor of Trump and stuff like that. Matter of fact, do you know who ran those bot farms in 2016? Before he ran the Wagner Group, it was Prigozhin. The guy who ran Wagner Group, before he ran it, ran the bot farms that interfered in the 2016 election. Really. 2014, 2015, he ran those bot farms. Gigantic buildings full of people who were just sitting there copying and pasting on Facebook and on Twitter and pasting stuff all over social media that was oppositional to Bernie or Biden or Hillary or whatever, and positive about Donald Trump. Kind of creating what would you call it? Like creating a something of a cult following behind Donald Trump, because Vladimir Putin knew that Donald Trump was going to be positive toward him. He's going to be helpful toward him. So yeah, of course, Vladimir Putin was interfering in the election by creating those bot farms. We know that without a shadow of a doubt. The Mueller report did not exonerate Donald Trump. He was involved in it. If you haven't read the Mueller report, you should. He created the propaganda phrase, Russia, 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 to convince everybody around him that he was 100% completely and totally innocent of any wrongdoing, even though he wasn't. So anyways, yeah, Russia, of course, is going to interfere in the election again.
Is this not crazy? Watch.
Vladimir Putin has obviously your friend and mine.
Yes, indeed.
He has intervened in our election in the past.
Right.
It's
Yep.
not something, as you experienced firsthand, it's not something we talk about a lot. Do you?
Actually, you know what Vladimir Putin did in 2016? He was just trying to cause chaos. So he promoted Bernie Bros. That's where Bernie Bros came from. Vladimir Putin fabricated the term and the group Bernie Bros, effectively. He actually created pro-Bernie Sanders memes and pro-Hillary Clinton memes and stuff. He just wanted chaos. That's what it was all about. And if you're really curious, you can just look up some of the memes that Vladimir Putin had created that were favorable to Bernie Sanders or favorable to Trump or whatever. Russian memes 2016. I mean, these were all listed in some report. I forget. Okay, here are some of the memes that were spread according to Time.com. Trump is not my president. November 12th, 12 p.m. Union Square, New York City. They're trying to create like a protest. People are genuinely scared for their futures. Racism won, ignorance won, sexual assault won. Stop Trump, stop racism. Join the protest at Union Square. He was just trying to cause chaos, and he was, of course, at this time, Trump was not that popular. So he was trying to draw attention to Donald Trump. Good attention, bad attention didn't matter. He wanted attention on Donald Trump. And he wanted chaos between Democratic Party candidates. That's what it was really all about. Don't mess with Texas Border Patrol, always guided by God. Border Patrol agents in South Texas arrested an illegal alien from Honduras that had previously been deported and convicted of rape second degree. Okay, that's not how that is said, but maybe it's said that way in Russia. Again, this is created by Russia. Thanks to Obama's and Hillary's policy, illegals come here because they wait for amnesty promised. The wrong course had been chosen by the American government, but all those politicians are too far from the border to see who actually sneaks through it illegally. Rapists, drug dealers, human traffickers, and others. The percent of innocent poor families searching for a better life is too small to become an argument for amnesty and Texas warm welcome. Wait, isn't the warm welcome? Never mind. Here's a pro-Bernie meme. You can color your own Bernie hero. Here's a new coloring book Here's a new coloring book calling Buff Bernie, a coloring book for Berniacs, is full of very attractive doodles of Bernie Sanders in muscle poses. The author of the book said that she wanted people to stop taking this whole thing too serious. The coloring is something that suits for all people. LGBT United was a Russian front Facebook page. Heart of Texas, I believe, was a Russian front Facebook page. And if you notice, it's sponsored. They bought ads on Facebook. Sponsored. I mean, those are just a few examples of memes that Russia used and fronts that they used to create chaos, basically. Again, BM, I don't know what BM was. BM was some kind of a Facebook page that took out ads in New York City and created a protest where one was not there originally. They just wanted to create chaos and bring attention to Donald Trump because they thought Trump would be most valuable to them. And it worked. Absolutely worked. So, yeah, Russia interfered in the election in 2016 and in 2020 through creating click farms and fake Facebook pages and all this other stuff. This is all well understood and well known and beyond a shadow of a doubt. And if somebody says the Russia or the Mueller report or the Russia hoax was fake or whatever, like Kyle Kulinski says that the Russia thing was fake, they're full of shit. I don't think Kyle Kulinski is a bad actor. I don't think that he's covering for anybody. I just think he's a fucking fool for, I'm sorry. I don't call people out directly like this almost ever. But Kyle Kulinski, come on, man. Russia interfered in the election, okay? It's obvious. If you don't believe it, then you're not looking. This is why I don't watch secular talk anymore, because he's absolutely refusing to see the evidence in front of his eyes. Russia interfered in the election. Okay, you know what? If Kyle's listening to this right now, I like Marianne Williamson. I agree with you on Marianne Williamson's policies. I want Medicare for all. I want all the same shit you want. You're wrong about Russia interfering with the election. I'm just saying. Kyle is acting like a fool. I'm sorry. He just is. I don't do call-outs like this. I go out of my way not to call people out. But I had to. I have to call Kyle Kulinski out on this one. I must. I wouldn't feel right about it if I didn't. I'm really upset with Kyle Kulinski because he went down that stupid road, and then he quadrupled down, and he still, to this day, refuses to accept that Russia interfered in the 2016 and 2020 elections. You know why I think Kyle Kulinski says the things that he does about it, Secular Talk? I think it's because, Newman is here, or Neverman is here, says woke military is Russian. Yeah, you're right. That's another Russian meme. Here's another Russian meme right here. U.S. tanks, they/them. Russian tanks, no they, them. This is just another Russian meme. You know why I think that Kyle Kulinski refuses to, accept that Russia interfered in the elections? I think it's because he likes Noam Chomsky, which Chomsky's great in some ways. But Noam Chomsky, anytime Russia is brought up, says, well, if you really want to talk about election interference, he goes down this whataboutism path and says, well, look at what Israel's doing. What about Israel? Yes, it's all bad. I agree. It's all bad. But we're talking about Russia right now, not about the other people that interfere. Let's deal with what we're talking about right now. Noam Chomsky, PhD, language expert, knows what whataboutism is. And Kyle Kulinski does too. They should both know better than to go down this whataboutism path and completely dismiss Russian interference in the election. It's an embarrassment. I'm sorry, Kyle. I used to watch your stuff. In fact, I still watch your stuff from time to time. I agree with you on everything except for that. You got to change your position on that, Kyle. All right, let me use the bathroom real quick. I bought candy, like a big-ass bag of candy, for Halloween, because usually I get some trick-or-treaters coming through, and I want to have this big-ass bag of candy available for when the trick-or-treaters come so I can give it to them, but the bag of candy is just sitting there, tantalizing, and every time I stand up, I see it. So tempting. But I can't. I can't open it. I cannot do it. It's for the trick-or-treaters, not for the Owen. Screaming, eat me, yeah, exactly. That's what she said. Okay. All right, let's continue on. Let me bring it back around here. The point here is that Russia most definitely interfered in the election. There is absolutely no question about it. There's a whole report all about it. This is absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt true. And if they hadn't interfered the way that they did, it is, I would venture as far as to say, likely that Hillary Clinton would have been the president instead of Donald Trump. You know why? Because it's possible Trump may not have even been the nominee. And if Hillary Clinton was running against somebody else other than Donald Trump, maybe she would have won. And if all the character assassination against her hadn't taken place, maybe she would have won. I just think it's foolish for Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk. Yeah, this is another call out. I think it's foolish for Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk to completely discount and dismiss this stuff when it is 100% real.
Vladimir Putin has obviously your friend and mine.
Yes, indeed.
He has intervened in our election in the past. Right. It's not something, as you experienced firsthand, it's not something we talk about a lot. Do you fear that that is something that could be happening for 2024? And
oh, of course, yes. Putin is going to interfere in every election moving forward. Yes, absolutely. Until we do something to acknowledge it and put a stop to it. Now, to be fair, the FBI has been working on putting a stop to the election interference taking place. They've been doing their best to shut down these click farms and all this other stuff. So they've been working on it. Probably not enough, but what can you do?
You think we should be talking about it more?
Well, I think we should be talking about it more because I don't think, despite all of the deniers, there's any doubt that he interfered in our election or that
there is no doubt. No, there is no doubt that Putin interfered in the election, both 2020 and 2016.
That he has interfered in many ways in the internal affairs of other countries, funding political parties, funding, political candidates.
Oh, yeah. The United States has too, and it was wrong for them also. But we're not here to talk about the United States and what they do. We're here to talk about what Vladimir Putin is doing and has done. I'm just dispelling that argument right now. I know somebody is watching right now saying, what about blah? What about the U.S. doing this or that or whatever? We're not talking about the U.S. right now. We're talking about what Vladimir Putin does. And Hillary Clinton's absolutely 100% correct on this point. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to do this call-out video. I'm going to edit it down and upload it to my main channel to, give it a better chance of reaching Kyle Kulinski. Because there are some things I want to say to Kyle Kulinski that I need him to hear, and I need him to hear it in a very public and obvious way. I'm disappointed in him. I'm disappointed in the things that he's done. So even if I don't think Kyle watches my channel. I don't think he watches it at all. Like, there's like a 0% chance he watches it. But you know what? There are people that watch my channel that watch Kyle's channel too, and they will definitely get the message to him. And then he'll probably pull it up, because a channel with 400,000 subbies, 500,000 subbies almost, is doing a call out on him. It's hard to ignore it when that happens. So anyway.
Other countries, funding political parties, funding, political candidates, buying off, government officials in different places. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That happens. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We're watching Flashpoint right now. These are Trump extremist nutcases that we're watching. They were just playing a clip that Hillary Clinton said, and they're about to criticize it. Oh, my God. I cannot even imagine what they're going to say about it. It's going to be something psychotic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Russia's fault.
Okay, I guess they're just going to deny that it happens? Is that what's happening right now? Are you denying that this happens at all? I mean, Russia does this stuff without a shadow of a doubt.
It's Russia, Rick. I've been telling you, Hillary's been saying it. It's still Russia's fault.
Well, I mean, nobody's blaming every problem that exists in the United States on Russia. That's not happening. We're just saying there are issues that Russia has created intentionally. And if you don't believe that, then you're a fucking joke of a human being. I'm sorry. Russia, Robert Adset brings up a good point. Russia funded the NRA to fund election campaigns and campaign ads. Absolutely, that's a fantastic point. The spy that existed was in the NRA. The Russian spy that existed was uncovered. And when she was discovered, fled to Russia. And now she's like a news anchor or whatever on RT, Russia's propaganda channel. I'm dead serious. She was a very high up NRA operative, and when her connections to Russia were uncovered, she left and is now an RT, anchor or whatever. How do you reconcile that? The NRA was acting as an arm of Russia, seriously. And here's another call out. I'm sorry. Kyle Kulinski refuses to see what's right in front of his fucking face. Really. Kyle, pull it together, bro. Russia interfered in the election, okay? Yes, Israel interferes in our elections. And yes, we interfere in other people's elections. Yes. Yes to all of that shit. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about Russia and their election interference in America. Okay? You know better than to use whataboutism. You know better. Don't use that shit with me.
It goes back to exactly what Lance was saying. They truly believe they can say anything, get away with anything, facts, evidence, none of that matters. Now, you do notice the language changed, right?
Wait, who is they? Is it like the deep state, or who are we talking about?
Russian collusion, because it was undoubtedly proven that there was no collusion.
No, it was not undoubtedly proven. It was undoubtedly proven that there was collusion, actually, in the Mueller report. Donald Trump did, in fact, collude with Russia to do this stuff. Paul Manafort and a bunch of people went to jail for it, okay? There was collusion, as a matter of fact. Robert Mueller just believed that you shouldn't indict a sitting president. So he recommended against indictment because he thought that you shouldn't do that to a sitting president. You should impeach rather than indict. That was his position. That's why he said no indictments. There was collusion. He colluded with Russia. Donald Trump did. I don't know how anybody could buy the lie that Donald Trump did not collude with Russia at this point.
But now it's just that they interfered. So if they got on some social media outlets and they put some bots on there, of course they would try things like that. That's what foreign entities do. But that somehow that changed the outcome for Hillary or whatever. All a bunch of lies. Listen,
No, it's all true. That's exactly what happened. Donald Trump colluded with Russia, and they did put a whole bot network on there. All of that is absolutely 100% true. There was interference and there was collusion. That is completely true and was proven through the investigations that took place. By the way, here's another way in which, I don't know if you would call this collusion or if you'd call, I don't know what you'd call it, but here's another thing that happened. Just think about this one. This is completely undeniable. It's a matter of public record. Just go look if you're curious, okay? Michael Flynn was Obama's, national security advisor? I'm not even sure exactly what role he played in Obama's cabinet or in his whatever. I don't know. Anyway, Michael Flynn was somehow involved in Obama's administration. In 2014, Russia invaded Ukraine. They invaded Crimea, a section that belonged to Ukraine, a strip of land that they got their water, or some utility from Crimea. I forget which utility it was that Ukraine got from Crimea. And Russia invaded Crimea and took ownership of Crimea. Really. And you know what Michael Flynn did? Communicated with Sergei Kislyak, which was the Russian ambassador, and said to him, if Trump wins, I've talked to him. He said he's going to back off and drop the sanctions that Obama just placed on you for invading Crimea. So don't do anything. Just wait. See what happens. And just let it play out. And sure enough, Putin didn't say a word when sanctioned by Obama. And the Obama administration was like, that's unusual. Why? This guy cries about everything. Why is he not crying about this? About these sanctions that we just placed on him? Come to find out, it was because Michael Flynn made that plan with him. He said, don't worry about it. We've got your back. We're going to... Oh, shit. I forgot to use... Oh, God. Damn it. I used the wrong thing. Michael Flynn basically went behind Obama's back to communicate with Russian operatives to tell them, don't worry about it. When Trump wins, if Trump wins, we will remove the sanctions for you. And sure enough, Trump won, and guess what he did? He removed the sanctions. Anybody surprised? Vladimir Putin made an investment. He invested in bot farms and stuff like that. And that investment paid off when Trump won. There was absolutely Russian interference in the election, and it paid off. It was successful. His campaign worked to his benefit. Michael Flynn was charged and convicted and sentenced for that, and then pardoned by Donald Trump. Now that shit right there should be illegal. That is collusion in my mind. Right there. That. pardoning Michael Flynn was collusion, as far as I'm concerned. There is like a paper trail the size of Texas on the collusion that Donald Trump took part in with Russia. And there's a paper trail the size of Texas regarding the interference that Russia took part in too. Sorry, man, if you don't see it at this point, you're blind. Look around you, okay? Just look at any of these reports.
I just got to go back to the congressman a few minutes ago. I was listening to him describe the reasons that come.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to mention. Nemo 2 brought this up just now. Do you know why there's an operation called Operation Crossfire? Crossfire Hurricane. That's what it was called. Crossfire Hurricane. Do you know why the FBI was even investigating Trump in Operation Crossfire Hurricane? That's what it was called. That was the investigation into Donald Trump and his ties to Russia and the collusion that they might have going on or whatever. Do you know why the FBI was investigating Trump in the first place? Because the FBI, or maybe the CIA, NSA, I don't know, somebody, whoever it was, probably the CIA, were monitoring known spies, known Russian spies in the United States. They were monitoring their phone calls. They had them bugged. And people from the Donald Trump campaign and Donald Trump's allies and Donald Trump family members kept calling these known Russian spies. And the FBI, I think it was the FBI, they're like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is Donald Trump's presidential campaign like contacting so many Russian spies? This is bizarre. Of course, that led to the investigation, which led to the Mueller investigation, which led us to find out that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia to get himself an edge in the election. Really. Thanks for reminding me of that, Nemo. I appreciate that.
A few minutes ago, I was listening to him describe the reasons that Kamala's polling so bad.
It's Kamala.
And he listed a bunch of reasons, but he forgot the most important one. And I'm not going to be, I'm sorry, I just can't be as diplomatic as Lance. It's because she's a moron. She doesn't have, I don't know how many brain cells she's got, but it's not many. Everybody knows it when she starts.
Everybody knows that Kamala is stupid? Kamala's not stupid. What are you talking about? Doesn't Kamala Harris have, like, where did she go to school? What degree does she have? She's vice president, okay? She's made her way all the way up the political ladder. You can't be an idiot and do that. She went to Howard. She interned as a mailroom clerk for California Senator Alan Cranston, chaired the Economic Society, led the debate team, and joined Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Harris graduated from Howard in 1986 with a degree in political science and economics. That's probably her undergrad. What was her postgrad degree? Was that her postgrad degree? That may have been her postgrad. But she was like a prosecutor for a while and everything. Yeah, Kamala Harris is an extremely intelligent person. It's like when, what's his name? I forget the dude's name now. Kind of talks like Foghorn Leghorn, pretends to be a moron. You know who I'm talking about? He's one of those senators. Not Lindsey Graham, but he's Lindsey Graham adjacent. Anyways, he pretends to be a complete idiot. He's not an idiot. He went to Harvard. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He's not stupid. He just pretends to be stupid because he believes it'll help in his election with, quote-unquote, the common folk. He believes his electorate is stupid, and he wants to act like them. What's that dude's name? Yeah, here it is. Senator John Kennedy. No context, John Kennedy. All right, let's just click this one, see what we got going on here.
Goat's milk latte drinking, avocado toast eating.
Yeah, that's him making fun of people who are intelligent, quote unquote. He wants to pretend that he's an idiot. Dude went to Harvard. He's not an idiot. He's about as smart as it gets. This is an example of somebody about as high up in politics as you get, pretending to be an idiot because he thinks that the people that elect him are idiots. And they are if they vote for him. I'm sorry. They bought into his whole charade.
Life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid.
Can I take cocaine with my spouse?
No, sir. No, sir.
I did not call Senator Sanders an ignorant slut.
I'm not talking about buying.
Okay, this is out of context. I'm sorry. I don't know what some of this is.
No, sir.
I did not call Senator Sanders an ignorant slut.
I'm not talking about buying it, but let's suppose I came in one day and the cocaine was there.
People who are bilingual, they speak English and stupid. I don't know.
So the bilingual. See, he's not an idiot. This is a fake accent. This isn't even real. This whole character that he's built up, it's fake. He pretends to be stupid when he's in public.
Why we have to give money to countries that hate us? They should be able to hate us for free. Looks like we're giving Lindsay Lohan the keys to the minibar. President Biden is sort of like Kevin Bacon at the end of Animal House, the cantina bar scene out of Star Wars. They wanted it like Ben wants J-Lo. I'm like Bluto in Animal House. I'm just fat, drunk, and stupid. Frankly,
He references Animal House a lot. That's weird.
I can't because I can't get my head that far up my rear end. To stick it up their fact checker. They can kiss my ass. Somebody at the White House has been smoking the devil's lettuce, okay?
The devil's lettuce. I love that saying. It's a fantastic saying, right?
We cannot run the greatest economy by putting fairy dust and unicorn urine in our cars. Urinate to get off the pot. My car doesn't run off fairy dust. My car doesn't run off unicorn urine. The spending porn on pet projects, it's just chock full of spending porn. There's an enormous amount of spending porn.
I don't even know what that means. He's acting folksy, like he's an idiot, even though he went to Harvard Law School. Do you know how hard it is to get into Harvard, let alone how hard it is to go through Harvard? It's f***ing hard. I'm watching my wife go through a normal, non-Ivy League law school right now. Not Harvard, not Yale, not even NYU or whatever. It's just a normal law school. And it's hard. It will cause mental breakdowns, for real. This dude went through it. He's not an idiot. This accent is fake.
Next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead, call a criminal, call a meth head. It must suck to be that dumb. I don't mean disrespect, but the mayor needs to take her meds.
Christmas ornaments, drywall, and Jerry Epstein. Name 3 things that don't hang themselves.
Wow. Okay. Drywall, Christmas ornaments, and Jerry Epstein. I think he meant, what's his name? Was it Jeffrey Epstein? Is that his name? Anyways, yeah. The guy is, it's just an example of people acting like fools. And they're doing it because they believe that their electorate are fools. And they want to be more like their electorate. They want to be more relatable to their fools of electorates. For real. So, anyways, they're saying that Kamala Harris is an idiot and all of that stuff on Flashpoint. No, she's not. She's not an idiot. She doesn't even pretend to be an idiot like John Kennedy, like Senator Foghorn Leghorn does.
Just can't be as diplomatic as Lance. It's because she's a moron. She doesn't have, I don't know how many brain cells she's got, but it's not many. Everybody knows it. When she starts talking, it's like you're listening to a kid's book. It's horrific.
Well, okay, I don't know what he's talking about there, but you should, as a politician, be giving your speeches at about a 6th grade level, give or take, because that's roughly where most people's education is after the fact. Like, it's been how many years since I've been out of high school? Shit, a lot. Like 10 years since I've been out of high school or something. I've forgotten a lot of the readings and the homework and stuff that I did all the way back then. My reading level, I mean, I read for a living, and I listen to political debate and stuff like that for a living. So my reading level's probably a little bit higher because I've stayed in practice. But most people don't stay in practice for their average job. You know, if somebody has just a normal job doing something non-reading related, it's probably fallen a little because they're not in practice with this stuff, is my guess. So politicians' goal is usually to keep their speeches and stuff around a 6th to 8th grade reading level. Now, Donald Trump, what was Donald Trump's speeches reading level? I forget. Let me find out what Donald Trump's speeches. Okay, Trump speaks at a 4th grade level, apparently. The lowest of the last 15 presidents. And that's probably why he appeals to the lowest common denominator. Because they think at a 4th grade reading level, right?
And they know it. And so they cannot afford to have her out in front. It's why I don't think your 6-month scenario would actually end up happening. I guess it could if Biden falls over, you know.
They're talking about, if you missed it, they're talking about they believe that Kamala Harris is going to be given an opportunity to be the president for 6 months, and then she resigns. I'm assuming they're going to kill Biden, or they're going to reveal that he's been dead all along or something. I don't have any idea. Like, they're conspiracy brain nutcases.
Completely incapacitated. You know, maybe we'll invoke the 25th, which should have already been invoked. But you raise a great scenario, Gene. For them, it's a great out for the Democrats to just let her, you know, walk around as president for 6 months, but have somebody in the wings that's actually going to be the candidate. I think if that happens, though, she's going to run. I just don't think she can even win a Democrat primary. I mean,
yeah, I'm not convinced that Kamala Harris would win in a Democratic primary either. She's largely stayed out of the public eye at this point, and I don't think she's going to. I don't think she's going to be popular enough in a Democratic primary to win. Truthfully, I'm not convinced of it.
Think about how bad she did the first time around when she ran for president.
Yeah, she was less than 2%, and that's why she had to drop out anyway.
Yeah, but no, she didn't drop out, I don't believe. She was pretty low, though, but she was involved in the debates, and nominees usually shore up their weak points with, you know, their vice president picks. Like Donald Trump, his weak spot was religion. He was not very popular with religious people, or he worried that he wasn't popular with religious people. So what did he do? He went and found an ultra-religious nutcase as his vice president. Hillary Clinton picked Tim Kaine. That was a stupid decision. But Tim Kaine was very popular in Virginia, and she thought she would get all of the classic standard states that Democrats usually get, and Virginia was probably going to be the thing that, like, the election hinged on. That's what she believed. So if she could win Virginia, then she believed that she would be able to win the election. So she picked someone super popular in Virginia, Tim Kaine. That was her thought process. Unfortunately, Virginia was not the thing that the election hinged upon, and she should have picked somebody that was more universally popular, like Bernie Sanders, in my opinion, as her running mate, if she wanted to win the election. That's just my take on it. But the point here is Biden picked Kamala Harris as his running mate, as his his vice president, because she's a woman of color, and Biden knew that his weak spot was people who believed him to be racist, or people that knew that he had done racist things in his past. That's why he brought her in. And it was extremely valuable for him to bring Kamala Harris into his campaign, ultimately, eventually, in my opinion. Anyway.
First time around when she ran for president.
Yeah, she was less than...
John Kennedy went to University of Virginia and is a Rhodes Scholar. Went to Oxford for postgrad. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he went to Harvard. Fascinating. Thank you for clarifying for me. A Rhodes Scholar, huh? Holy shit, dude. There are only... How many Rhodes Scholars are there in the world? 20, 30, 40, 50? Something like that? Bill Clinton and... what's her name? Rachel Maddow. Bill Clinton and Rachel Maddow are the only Rhodes Scholars that I know of, aside from him, I guess. They are some of the most battle-tested, intelligent people on planet Earth. Rhodes Scholars are. I'm not a Rhodes Scholar. It's extremely impressive to get to that point. John Kennedy is not an idiot, is the point, though. Thank you, Real Pumpkin J. Appreciate that.
Win a Democrat primary. I mean, think about how bad she did the first time around when she ran for president.
Yeah, she was less than 2%, and that's why she had to drop out anyway.
Okay, I don't remember her dropping out, but whatever.
All right, Lance, your thoughts, with the Hillary and Kamala Russia collusion. It's
wow, check that out. I guess what's his name? Gene Bailey has started pronouncing Kamala's name correctly. That's interesting, huh? Good for him.
Trump's fault. Anything you want to wrap?
Sorry, I'll listen it back.
All right, Lance, your thoughts, with the Hillary and Kamala Russia collusion. It's Trump's fault. Anything you want to wrap up there before we move on?
Well, I mean, it's just so painful to hear somebody say, after the evidence we have of Russia collusion being her funding Perkins Coie to create a fake dossier with fake FISA warrants that were...
Okay, this is deep lore. If you weren't paying attention, or if you haven't been paying attention to the politics over the past 5 years, this is really, really complex lore, so let me explain. Something called the Steele dossier, and it was basically a piece of political opposition research that Hillary Clinton had on Donald Trump. Who knows if it's even true? I don't have any idea. Probably not, honestly, in my opinion. But Trump had opposition research on Hillary, too, obviously, and he probably got a lot of it from Sergei Kislyak, ambassador, the diplomat or whatever for Russia. I don't even know what his role was now. Anyway, they all had oppositional research on each other. It doesn't surprise me in the least bit to find out that, there was oppositional research. The Steele dossier contained information, or contained speculation. It was speculation, ultimately, that Donald Trump went to Russia and hired hookers to pee on a bed because something. I don't even know exactly what the claims were. Something about he wanted a golden shower from a hooker. Who knows? I don't even have any idea, to be honest with you, what the whole claim was. But anyway, that was a Steele dossier, and it was just Oppo research, and these people act like it was like this outrage that it existed. If they're going to be outraged over Hillary Clinton doing oppositional research, then they're going to have to be outraged over Trump doing it too, right? You guys outraged over Trump doing Oppo research too?
Were documented by the FBI and doctored up. The whole thing, she should actually be in court instead of Trump, because she actually did a crime. But there's a
What was the crime Hillary Clinton did? What are you talking about? She actually did a crime. What crime?
Should actually be in court instead of Trump, because she actually did a crime. But there's a verse in this Bible here, and I'm serious about this. This will put the fear of God in you. You're looking at a whole category of political people in Washington that start out being shrewd and manipulating the truth or saying a lie because they want to attack Trump over Russia. And then they come under a spirit of deception and they begin to believe the lie that they're speaking. I see it in Biden. I see it in all of them. It makes them dangerous because they don't have the ability to perceive reality.
Like, I don't even know what he's talking about here. What the is this guy even saying? I'm sorry. Let me step back and try to listen again and reprocess that, because it's just not sticking here. Hang on. Let me try listening again.
What you're looking at, and I'm serious about this, you're looking at a whole category of political people in Washington that start out being shrewd and manipulating the truth or saying a lie because they want to attack Trump over Russia. And then they come under a spirit of deception and they begin to believe the lie that they're speaking. I see it in Biden. I see it in all.
So he's saying that these people start out basically selling their soul to Satan, and then they start to believe the deception that Satan made them repeat or some other thing like that. Is that basically what he's saying? That's what I'm picking up. It's like a spirit, like they're possessed, basically, is what he's saying, I think.
All of them. It makes them dangerous because they don't have the ability to perceive reality.
Yeah, I don't even think that he believes anything that he's saying right now. I think he recognizes that he's making all of this up. Like, him saying dangerous that way just now convinced me that he knows that what he's saying is a complete lie.
Dangerous because...
Listen again.
I see it in Biden. I see it in all of them. It makes him dangerous.
It makes him dangerous. He doesn't even believe this. He doesn't believe the words that he's saying right now. You can't convince me of it. He knows he's full of shit, in my opinion.
Because they don't have the ability to perceive reality.
No, it's so true. Well said. Well said. And
it's not true, and no, it wasn't well said either. Sorry.
You know, I think these guys they really are counting on the public to forget. Forget that whole Russia collusion thing. Forget that, that I was involved. Forget all that. This is where Mike will go, everybody, it's all about the election. We got to show up. We haven't even touched the whole election thing and the fake ballots and the mail-in ballots and the absentee ballots.
Okay. Yeah, people use mail-in ballots. They've used mail-in ballots for years. This is just their method of propagandizing and convincing other people that secretly the election was stolen through mail-in ballots or some other nonsense. It's just garbage, all of it. It's all garbage.
Mailing to everybody. That's a whole nother ball game, including...
A whole nother, he says. A whole nother. Okay.
The whole election thing and the fake ballots and the mail-in ballots and the absentee ballots and mailing to everybody. That's a whole nother ball game, including the ballot harvesters and drop boxes and all that. We have got, and it can be discouraging if we're not prepared for this.
There was no election fraud. There was no cheating. It was the most secure election in U.S. history in 2020 because Democrats knew Trump was ramping up this bullshit about cheating. He was ramping it up months before the election even happened. They knew he was going to use this as one of his tactics. So they did absolutely everything they could above board. They being election workers, all of them. Not just Democrats, but nonpartisan, everyone. Just absurd, ridiculous, embarrassing nonsense. All of it.
So we're not going to be discouraged. We know the end of the book. We know what happened to Robert Hunt in 1670. In 1607 when he landed on the beach there at Cape Henry. You know what George Washington did?
Wait, no, I don't know about... Who? What was that? I've never heard that.
Not going to be discouraged. We know the end of the book. We know what happened to Robert Hunt in 1670. In 1607.
Okay, hang on. Robert Hunt. I need to look this up because I get the impression that somehow what he's saying right now is connected to like evangelical lore. Robert Hunt, 1607 prayer. That was the autofill thing. Pastor Robert Hunt led colonists in the following prayer 415 years ago. Land and ourselves to reach the people within these shores with the gospel of Jesus Christ and to raise up godly generations after us. And with these generations, take the kingdom of God to all the earth. Ah, I see. So I think the belief is that a new covenant was formed with God in 1607 between America and... I thought that these people believed that George Washington formed the covenant with God, not Robert Hunt. I've never heard of this Robert Hunt person. Okay. Which makes it New Israel, the whole belief system. It's all bizarre.
We know what happened to Robert Hunt in 1670. In 1607 when he landed on the beach there at Cape Henry. You know what George Washington did when he was right there, first day as president?
There you go. So he is talking about the covenant, turning the America into like New Israel, basically. That's insane.
That is where our faith comes in. This is important before we go to break. We got to remember, in the midst of all these shenanigans and hoopla and crazy stuff that we're seeing in the news, you and I, Lance, and maybe Rick, I think he's saved, we have something higher. We operate at a higher level. I don't know why my voice is going up. I feel like I'm Lance again. So we have to get... forget it. Let's go to break. We'll be right back.
What's he writing, you think? Is he just not even writing? Is he just pretending to write because he likes pretending to? Is that what's happening right now? Seems like that's what's happening right now. Just painfully stupid, man. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. These people are terrible, honestly.